So what is up, guys? Basically, what we're gonna be talking about here is basically, you know, upper trend line and downward trend lines and stuff like that, and exactly what it is. So let's get right into it. So basically, we're gonna be using here are back to what I said, our upper trend lines and our downward trend lines, and what exactly are those? So our upper trend line would kind of be kind of like a support line, kind of to test trends in the market. And then your downward trend line would kind of be exactly the same, testing trends in the market, but would kind of serve more as a resistance line. So basically, it's not exactly upper trend lines are going to be working, but basically what it is respecting the geometry of the trends of the market. You know what I'm saying. Right here, this will kind of serve as an upper trend line right here, kind of serving as a support. Sorry. And you would kind of, let's say you enter here, right here at the volume point of control, which is VPOC for sure. And if you want to know what VPOC is, please let us know in the comment section below, and we'll make sure to make a video about that, and kind of explaining stuff like that, and including volume, because VPOC does come with kind of speaking about volume. But back to what I said here, basically what you're up, this would be an upper trend line right here, and basically let's take these moving averages out. And basically what you would do this with is including levels in the market, and obviously this is not a clean trend line, but let's say here, let's talk about how you would play this exactly, in the market. So there could be, a couple different ways that you could play this. So you could play this on the break of this, breaking the geometry and not respecting the geometry of this trend line. Or you would kind of play it off this bounce of the trend line and kind of being like, oh, okay, it's respecting the geometry. Or you would kind of be like, okay, you draw your trend line right there, and then it bounces off here, and then you would kind of play it off here, which is not that big of a move, about almost $1 move, which is not much. But if you're scalping, then it's okay. But back to what I said. So you know when you're respecting geometry, you can't really um force a move on the market, because let's say you enter calls right about here, thinking that the continuation is just going to happen. Then we bounce off this trend line. We bounce off the trend line once again, try to go up, breaking new highs, but it gets blocked right at this resistance. So that's why you also got to include your levels in some of these trades, because you can't just go just based on off the trend line. So you see right here, this will kind of serve as a double top right here, and that it actually, this right here would kind of serve as a tweezer top, which is kind of like a candlestick pattern. And then you would that would be your indication right there. So you would kind of be like, okay, this is a tweezer top right there, basically 2 cents off the highs of this candle. So it's not much of a difference, but you see right here, we see the difference in volume. So there's more volume here on this candle, 388,000 compared to this candle. And then we kind of see fall through to the downside, and that you would kind of play this candle off the break of the geometry, and off the break of off the break of the geometry, and then of the tweezer top. And also this will kind of also be like an ascending triangle as well, ascending triangle, trend line pattern right here. So ascending triangle right here. So your support, your resistance would be right here, and your upper trend line would be right there. And you could also have many different type of triangles. So you could have your so you could have your symmetrical triangle right there, and you could also have an descending triangle. So you would also have your descending triangle, which would look like this. Oops, yeah, that's right. And then you would also have your descending triangle, which looks like this, which is basically the opposite of this. But back to what I said, it's all about respecting that geometry. And as most, if a trader doesn't know that this is tweezer top, then they would kind of be in deep trouble if they were like, oh, okay, and they were like, okay, let's hold these calls because it might bounce off this support or stuff like that. But basically, it didn't respect the geometry. It had this tweezer top right here, so we saw fall through to the downside, kind of chop right here. And this is not the ideal day to play any type of upside or downside on the indexes, because it's all over the place. As you can see right here, there was really not much happening right there. As you know, we kind of just chopped around and stayed right at the same place. We're right here where the volume point of control is. So make sure that you always remember that as well, to trade in days that there is volume right there and there is consistency in the movement of the market. You know what I mean? So you see these moves right here. This is just all over the place. Boom, 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 boom. Up, down, up, down, up, down. You want to see a move, like this, to the upside, or like this to the downside if you want to play, something, of course. Um, but back to what I said is you would kind of place down up to the downside, and then you kind of look for your follow through to the downside, and kind of look at other levels right here. So let's say that it just kept on drifting down. You would kind of look at this level because it was the low of day, and also this level because it was the low of the pre-market as well. So you would count that as a level, and then you would kind of also look, also at this level because it was the low of the yesterday. And then you would kind of look at other different time frames and come up with your thesis right there as well. um but that's basically a little breakdown of your upper trend line. And we kind of included ascending triangle, and we kind of explained what other triangles were, which we also did explain in our magic triangles video. If you guys want to go watch that, I'll link it down in the description if you guys do want to watch that. But now let's go to a downward trend line. So here, this would kind of serve as a downward trend line right there. So this will actually be also a little bull flag right there as well. Perfect. So this is also a bull flag. So basically what a bull flag is, I'll just include this in the video for you guys. But basically what a bull flag is, basically it's kind of like a trend line pattern, where it's kind of like in the channel, trading in a little channel right there. You see a channel right there, trading in channel of the true trend line. So bouncing right off the support of the downward trend line, and this other trend line right there. So basically, let's say we see a big move in the price. This is a pretty big move right there. So let's count this move right there. Almost 2%. So pretty big move right there for Amazon. But back to what I said, you would kind of see this move, you would kind of flag it and be like, okay, maybe you could break this pattern and, kind of break the new highs. So this would also be your level right there as well. So, let's say it broke right here, then, you would kind of look at this level and be like, okay, is it going to break this level? If it doesn't, then maybe look for a retest of the break of the break of the bull flag, and then try to look for the new break of the highs. But if it doesn't, then it will most likely have a high chance of failing of the break of the bull flag and breaking new highs during intraday. But as we see here, this actually didn't try to break the bull flag and just kind of drifted down for the rest of the day. But back to what I said. So let's really this right here. So let's go back to this right here. Let's go back to the downward trend line. So basically, this downward trend line is serving as a resistance right there. And basically what this is you want to make sure that it breaks and has fall through to the upside. But if it doesn't, then there's not really much you can do. And obviously right here you could see that. So let's zoom in right here. So look at this candle right here. So there's not much volume right here, as it is trading in the little channel. There's a bunch of dojis and small candles that have absolutely no volume, as you can see right here in the bottom. These candles do have a move to the upside, straight up or straight down, but these are kind of just like in a little channel like I showed you guys. But here, this is when we start getting volume right there. So look at this. This is when we start getting volume. And let's put back our bull flag. So you would kind of be like, okay, we're having some volume here. Let's see, you kind of retest right here, and then kind of try to bounce up here, and then, try to go up if the bull flag does confirm. But, we do break right here. And right here, we kind of have this doji right here, kind of like, the market's a bit iffy, they're like, oh, okay, maybe we're trying to buy back up right here, but, there's not enough fuel for that. So that's when you see even more volume come in from this candle right here. And then we see that fall through to the downside, and then we see more volume come in to the downside as well, kind of drifting down. So here as well, chop, 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 buying volumes low, chop, chop, chop. And then we see more volume come in to the downside, and then you would kind of trade this based off that Let's see if we could find another downward trend line here. So also this could also serve as one. It kind of tried to break, but it didn't. This kind of also serve as one, but this is not really that good. But you could also you could have you could have it without this trend line right here, and you could also just look at your levels and kind of go from there on what exactly you want to do with this trade. You could also serve right here, which is also another point of control right there, as you see volume right there come in when this try to go down off this candle. So this would also be a good level right here. So you could go on the break of this level, because also remember how I told you the doji kind of try to bounce it off to the upside right here on this downward trend line. But like I said, you always got to trade with levels when you want your upward or downward trend lines. But yeah, guys, this is basically a little tutorial on how to trade based on trend lines, and we kind of included a little bit more stuff, ascending triangles and your bull flag, and yeah, pretty simple here. And if you guys have any questions, please make sure to link them down below. I mean, not link them, but comment them down below in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And thank you guys so much for watching. See ya.